Okay, so when I'm getting ready to draw a landscape, here are a few things I like to keep in mind. The first thing I think about is the story behind the landscape. I want the landscape to look interesting to explore, and I also just want to imagine uh, characters traveling through that place for whatever reason. The second thing I keep in mind is the perspective, and this usually applies to drawing buildings and stuff, but it can also help when drawing natural landscapes. And when I use perspective in my drawings, I usually start with the horizon line and then just draw all the other elements in for the landscape, the trees, mountains, rocks, whatever. And the last thing I like to keep in mind is space and depth. I think to myself, how do I make this landscape look like it goes on forever? How do I make it look more realistic and give it that real sense of depth and space? Okay, so right here is a landscape I actually fully colored and shaded and stuff. And like I said, when I start landscape drawing, I think about a story. Maybe in this particular drawing, the characters are walking through this path through these grassy plains or something like that. I just like to keep it simple. I don't have to have like a full-on story for a landscape, but it's just cool to keep that stuff in mind. And then the second point again, the second point is perspective. So when I was drawing this, the perspective is right around here, this line right here, and then I go in and draw in those elements like the grass, the path, the rock, and the mountains and clouds to give it more of a give it space and depth in the drawing. And another important thing is overlapping of objects and stuff in the drawing. So this rock here is bigger than the mountains, so that should suggest that the mountains are farther back in the landscape. And as you get farther back into the landscape, the rocks get smaller. As you get farther and closer into the camera, the rocks get bigger, and you can see more of that detail. And here, just a few more. And so yeah, all these start off with a simple horizon line. And in Clip Studio, they make it easy because you can use a perspective tool on some of these, but I don't use the perspective tool really when I want to draw a building or something. But the horizon line, that's what I start off with. I start off with a horizon line, and then I start drawing in those elements. So right here, the horizon line is like right there, and then I start drawing in the hills and the trees and all that. And what makes this landscape sketch really good is that I have these elements overlapping each other. So I have this hill overlapping the house, and this like mound. This mound is overlapping right here. Right here, this is overlapping that. The house is overlapping all these hills back here, and I think that's really a key thing to keep in mind when you're trying to draw landscapes is overlapping different objects and different elements to create that perspective of depth and space. And that's what I try to keep in mind with all these all these landscapes. So what I like about this one right here is I should have a cool flow going throughout the image. So this is the horizon line right here, about right there, right? But I draw this in a way so that leads the eye. It makes it look interesting. So it goes down here and follows a path into like that canyon or valley. And I think that just makes it look more interesting. Plus, again, like overlapping shapes and stuff. The rock right here, and a tree, and more rocks and stuff. And same thing with this one. Overlapping elements, just like stone wall, stuff like that, rocks and stuff. But yeah, even this one started off with a simple horizon line right there, and then I had like 2 points right here with the perspective tool in Clip Studio, and I just started drawing from there. Okay, now here are some other landscape sketches I did. I think they came out pretty well. I like them. is like uh, grassy field with some trees, clouds, forest, and a waterfall. I really like this one. This one's really cool to me. Again, overlapping shapes. I have this rock in the foreground. Let me increase my brush size. Just use this one. I have this rock in the foreground right here to create that depth, or this set of rocks and stuff. And then I also have the waterfall as well. I think like those are the main elements I think that helps with this landscape. And then I created like this pathway. So again, there's like a flow to it and like a story. Maybe these characters travel from this forest, coming all the way into the coming all the way down here to the waterfall, across the stream, go through this path, up the stairs, up these stairs, and then into the cave. And I think that's really important for the landscapes and making them look interesting. And that's why this one's one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm just gonna draw a landscape right here onto this whole thing. I'm gonna use just gonna create a square. Oh, not that kind of square. Actually, I'm not gonna make that big, but I think that's good. And now what I'm gonna do is go up here to the ruler, perspective ruler, and then I'm gonna create a line. I actually want this at a slant. I'm gonna do it slanted this way. Let's see if I can make something interesting with the perspective kind of slanted. But let's create a perspective ruler. And then to make it 2-point perspective, I'm just gonna do the same thing but on the opposite side. So nice. Now we have a 2-point perspective ruler. Nice and easy to create some cool perspective drawings. So I think I want to draw another waterfall, and I'm thinking something like this. So let's just start with the waterfall going up here. Actually, I'm gonna actually let's draw the horizon line first. So the horizon line comes down from right here all the way right there. That's the horizon line, and what the horizon line is our eye level. The viewer's eye level, so that's where I want the eye level to be, horizon line to be, and now I'm gonna start putting in those elements. So I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse this part real quick. I'm thinking of drawing a waterfall. I think, yeah. Okay, cool. So I got a good start right here. So yeah, here's like the waterfalls I wanted to draw. And Clip Studio makes it super easy with the perspective tool. But right now what I want to start doing is start adding this small detail, little rocks, trees, greenery, and stuff like that. So let's just start adding some rocks. I actually want like a rock right here at the base of the waterfall. Rocks, some in the stream, and that's just what you can start doing too. Once you have like your main perspective down and all that, you can start adding these small details. I want rocks up here somewhere like that, and then they'll go down here and start forming like these massive cliff sides and stuff. But landscape drawing is really fun. I definitely want to get better at drawing landscapes and stuff, and that way I can just tell better stories with my comics and stuff. Flipping the canvas so I can get some more perspective on it, or other view on it. But I like this like rocky area over here. That's pretty cool. Okay. So maybe like in this particular drawing, maybe the characters are trying to cross this waterfall area. It looks pretty big actually. And maybe right here in the very foreground. What? In the foreground right here, I have like a tree covering up this area, so it overlaps the waterfall. So we have that more depth and space in the image. Yes, sir. Okay, so yeah, I added this tree in the foreground. Adds even more depth to the landscape, and that's really all that this is. You know, you just gotta practice it a lot, and just enjoy the process because I love seeing how these come out. But yeah, once you have like your main perspective down, you have your main elements in the drawing, then you can start going in and adding all this detail and stuff. And I'm gonna keep working on this and show you the final product in the video. Okay, so here's the final little sketch I came up with for this landscape. And again, just want to reiterate, so what I keep in mind when I'm drawing a landscape is a story. Maybe like there's some characters trying to cross the waterfall here or something. Or, I don't know, something like that, you know. I just try to keep a story in mind when I'm trying to draw landscapes. I think it comes easier to me when I have like a story in mind. The second thing I think about is the perspective. You saw me in the time lapse. I was using the perspective ruler in Clip Studio. It makes drawing landscapes super easy, and yeah. And the last thing is just space and depth. Overlapping certain objects like this rock right here compared to this rock. Well, perspective rule is the one. So yeah, the last thing is just space and depth. So here, this tree in the foreground. Well, this tree in the foreground is way bigger than the ones in the background over here, and it just gives it that depth along with this perspective and all the other elements I use to draw the landscape. So hopefully I helped you out. Hopefully you can take these tips and just draw some landscapes. So that's all I got for this video. So peace.